Hi, this is Paul Burkoven with Elk Spring Education, your place for real estate and financial know-how. And today we're doing an Elk Spring tidbit on the uber competitive real estate market. And many real estate markets across the country right now are super competitive, a shortage of homes compared to the number of buyers. We're seeing multiple offers on everything, things selling super fast, people frustrated because they've written offers for months and still don't have a house. Some people just staying out of the market because they can't even go look at something because it sells before they can even get there. And just frustration out there. But we're also seeing many buyers who are very successful in these markets. They're getting the home they want, they're beating out the competition, they're getting great prices on things, and they're winning. And the key to it is to know how to win in this sort of market. So that's what we're talking about today, some of the strategies we've seen the best and most successful buyers use in uber competitive real estate markets. And one of the things that I would say overall is that people who are super successful in these markets generally have their tactics down before they get into the market. They spend time getting their playbook together so they know how to beat out the competition. And number two, they're generally willing to adopt some new approaches, do things a little differently, maybe than they've done before or thought about before, so they can win. And that's a lot of what it takes in this sort of market. So what we're going to talk about today is what happens if you have a home to sell, okay, before you can buy. And you might imagine that could get really tricky in an uber competitive market because most people, if they have a home to sell before they can buy, will think things like, you know what, I'm only going to move if I find the place I really want. My place isn't so bad. I'm not, I'm only going to move if I get the one I really want. I don't want to sell my house and be stuck. I don't want to settle. Who wants to buy something they don't like, right? All those things. And so many people are a little bit confronted by this kind of market where it's hard to look for things because they sell so quick, and they've got a home to sell. And there's a lot of people who get stuck by it. But we're going to show you how to win and how to make this work. So one of the first things to know is that the way that people have dealt with this problem in the past is with a sale of home contingency. This is what many people have done over the years when they have a home to sell before they buy. And the way of sale of home contingency works is you go out, you find the home you like, you make an offer on it, and in your offer you say, hey, I'll buy your house contingent on me selling mine. And then the seller accepts that offer, and when they accept it, the way it usually works is they say, that's fine, but we're going to get to keep our property on the market. And if another buyer brings us an offer that we like, we'll let you know. And you have 24, 48 hours, something like that, to remove the contingency, to say if you're going to proceed or not. And if you don't, then we'll sell it to the other buyer. That's called a kick-out clause in many markets. So that's what people have done in the past. And it's pretty cool because you find the house you want, and then you list your house, and you're getting the one you want, so on and so forth. But here's the deal. In the competitive market that we're seeing now, this does not work. It just doesn't work. Your chances of getting that kind of offer accepted are slim, and even if you did, your chances of being able to sell your home before the kick-out clause is exercised is even more remote. So what we're finding is that people who try this are just losing. Like, they just can't get an offer accepted. And the possible exception to that, if you're going to use a sale of home contingency, is you focus on homes that have been on the market for a while. And in a competitive market, if something's been on the market for a while, it's usually because it was drastically overpriced or there's some problem with it. And if you're willing to work with either of those two things, you might be able to get a sale of home contingency through. Most people don't want to do that, and so our general observation right now is that this strategy doesn't work. So if that doesn't work, the question is, what does? Because if you got a home to sell, you got to do something about it, right? Well, the main thing that we're noticing is, and one of the smartest things you can do, is to find a way to buy without the contingency. Okay, with no contingency. Find a way that you can buy without having to sell first. Well, one very simple way of solving that problem is to just sell your house first. And believe it or not, some of the most successful buyers in this market are doing that when they have a home to sell. We've seen many people do this. Now, there can be some objections to that, like, I don't want an interim move. I don't want the cost, the hassle. I have kids. I got a lot of stuff. I don't know if I can find a short-term rental, right? All this kind of stuff. So there's objections to it where a lot of people get stuck. But here's the thing. if you sell your home first in these kind of markets, you often will do way better in the transaction, and you'll often get the home that you want, which ultimately is the most important thing. So why is that? Well, the first reason is if you focus on selling your home first, you're going to be able to put all of your effort into doing that the best way possible. And in this market where there's a lot of demand, that can pay big rewards. If you work closely with your realtor to follow their advice on how to price the home, what work you need to do in staging it, and how they're going to market it, you put those three things together and focus on that, you can get really great dollars for selling your home right now and do it quickly and painlessly. So focusing on that first has advantages that might more than make up for the cost of an interim move, if that's even necessary. The second reason selling your home first is so valuable and important is that if you do that and then you go into the market, you're in the driver's seat because you can make the most competitive offer possible. It'll be non-contingent and you're going to have the cash, so it's essentially as good as a cash offer. If you have your financing, together and all that good stuff, you really can go in with the strongest possible offer and win and beat out the 10 other offers on a particular house, for example, or more, who knows. So that's a great approach to talk to your realtor about if that's a smart thing. And probably you make money doing that. You probably do. You probably end up with a better place. And you even probably have the option of controlling the closing date a bit on your sale, because you're going to have people competing for your home to give you the chance to find a home and maybe not even need the interim move in many cases. I've seen people pull that off. So financialpro.info, that's a URL you're seeing here on your screen. And when we're done, I'm going to ask you to go there and just leave 2 quick feedback questions, legit, super fast, a few moments. It's also a place where you can request some info. All is free, no obligation. If you, in one of the boxes there, just write the words tight market, there's a full report we've done of all the strategies we've seen people use successfully in these markets. We'll send that out to you for free. There's no cost or obligation. If you just write tight market in one of those boxes there at financialpro.info, and we're done. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what to do if this really can't be done. Like, for some reason, selling the house first, you just can't do it. And there's no way you can, and you need another approach. So the other way of getting at this, where you can make a non-contingent offer, is to build a bridge before you list. And what I mean by that is that you get some financing where the financing releases the equity from your home that you can then use to go make a down payment on the one you want, and thereby write a non-contingent offer. So different lenders call these things different words, bridge loan, swing loan, equity loan, but the concept is the same. You're using a loan to release the equity from your home, and then that can be used to make a down payment on a new home, and then when your home sells, it pays off that loan and the mortgage that you might have now. So you end up with just the mortgage you would have had, your down payment was made, neat and clean. It's a bridge to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, what we recommend if you're doing a bridge is a great approach is to use what's called a HELOC, actually, which stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. And Home Equity Line of Credit is a product that almost every lender, every bank in the country has. Your place where you have your checking and savings probably offers this product. And you get a HELOC for a large portion of your equity. Now, how much to get it for? This is something you work on with your consulting lender. Your consulting lender will help you, and your realtor, they'll help you understand how much to take this out for. And if you need help finding a great consulting lender, you can ask for referrals at financialpro.info, and we'll send you some for the area where you are. So anyway, you get the HELOC for a large portion of the equity. The reason the HELOC is so great is they're cheap to get. The closing costs are very low. Sometimes there's no cost to get one of those things. And they don't cost you anything unless you use them. So they're just interest only based on whatever the balance is. If you aren't using it, it costs you nothing. And the key to it, though, is you got to do it before you list the home. Because once a home is listed, most lenders won't do a HELOC. But if you go and get it before you list it, if you're just thinking about moving, you could go get one in case you need it. That kind of thing is fine. And you want to have it in place. It's your tactic you get in place before you get in the market. So low cost to get, no cost unless you use it, and available almost everywhere. and you can get large portions of your equity that way. And you always do this with the help of a consulting lender. Now, some people will say, but I don't want 2 mortgages, I don't want 2 houses at once, and people have those objections. And what I would say to that is this: in the competitive market, it is very likely that that is not going to be a problem at all, or if it is, it will be for a very short period of time. And if you have a great realtor, you work closely with that realtor to understand, as I said a few moments ago, how to price the home, how to stage it, and how to market it. The realtor can tell you how long it will take to sell it. Pretty close. A great realtor in your area. So you want to get that intelligence. How long will it take to sell it, at what price, with what, marketing and staging. And when you know that, it's not too hard to make an intelligent non-contingent offer. We've seen clients control the closing date on the sale, so they probably will just have this sold by the time they have to, close here. Or if not, it'll miss by a few weeks or a month. And, many clients will just budget into the cash flow plan to keep some of the equity reserved for the dual payments if they might have it for a month or 2, that kind of thing. There's ways to be intelligent about the structure of that so you can make a non-contingent offer. And so, there are so many ways to use that thing. There are clients, for example, who won't use it unless they get an offer on their home. That could be a choice. Or they'll only use it if they need to remove a sale of home contingency. That could be a choice. Or you could only use it if you find a great buyer for your home, but the closing date here doesn't quite line up with the closing date you need for the home that you want. Like, there's a lot of reasons to have one of these things in place intelligently before you get into the market. So, financialpro.info. If you would, just take a moment or two, click through there, 2 quick feedback questions. You can also request help finding a consulting realtor or lender, and the tight market piece if you like. Financialpro.info, that's our tidbit for today. Thanks.